representing myself this morning with my vice president.
Emmanuel Frimpong, reading MBA Finance.
All right, Alex and Emmanuel, you are welcome. Please, you shall have your seat. Alex, how are you?
I'm good.
Alex, how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
I'm glad you are well.
Thank
Emmanuel, how are you also doing?
I'm doing well.
We thank God. Are you comfortable in your seat?
Sure.
Are you comfortable in your seat?
Sure.
Are you comfortable in your seat?
Yes, I'm comfortable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alex, are you also very comfortable?
Mr. Chair, I'm very comfortable.
I'm glad you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome once again. I think we've already had an interaction in there. You know the panel members seated here.
Yes, please.
I would want to, on their behalf, welcome you to the 2024 Grasag vetting session. We are here to have a conversation and to try as much as possible to understand the vision you carry for Grasag, which I know would in turn inform the choices and decisions of graduate students come 24th July or when's the election day?
5th and 6th of July.
Sorry.
Saturday.
5th,
Friday and Saturday.
5th, and which would definitely inform the choices and decisions of graduate students on the 5th and 6th of July 2024.
Yes, please.
Alex, briefly tell us why you are here, and then my other panel members shall take it over from there.
So, as part of the process, being transparent is also a requirement of the Constitution to submit yourself to a panel which shall be considered by electoral commissioner to vet you through the public vetting to know your aspiration to the people. That's why this morning, together with my vice president, we are here to subject ourselves to you to go through the vetting process.
Alex, just a bit of correction. You are not here to subject yourselves to us, but to the entire Grasag community. They are the reason you are here, not for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So, Alex, by virtue of the constitution we have as Grasag community, every society has a constitution, every association has rules and regulations. So with respect to the constitution of Grasag, that is what I'll be asking you questions on. I want to know, do you have the Grasag constitution with you? You are not supposed to open it, please.
Okay.
All right, so what makes someone a Grasag member per the constitution? Just mention at least two. What makes someone a Grasag member?
1, all postgraduate students that are admitted into KNUST to read any postgraduate student are qualified to be a Grasag member. Any postgraduate student who is also on an extension is also a Grasag member but does not have a voting right.
Per your first definition, I want to hear it again.
Any person that applied through KNUST and will be admitted to read any postgraduate program, either MSc, MPhil, PhD, MFA, they are all qualified to be a member of what? Grasag KNUST.
All right, that's fine. The next question I want to know is that there are precedents over everything that we do as Grasag community. So who takes precedence over all the persons in Grasag KNUST?
The Grasag president.
Followed by, I want to know the executive committee, people who take precedence per Article 51, Clause 2.
So we have the president, followed by the vice president, the general secretary.
That is wrong. So per Article 51, Clause 2 of the Grasag Constitution, the president is supposed to take precedence, followed by the vice president, the speaker of the Senate, and the chief justice in that order.
Okay, thank you.
So what is required of you as a Grasag president per the Constitution?
So per the Constitution, 1, you you are mandated to be the mouthpiece of all the postgraduate students. I'm also the head and have the executive authority to act on behalf of all the postgraduate students. I'm also to represent the postgraduate students at the university council level.
All right, that's fine. So I think my last but one question is that what is required of you before assuming office as a president?
What is required of me?
Of you, yes.
Come again. So first, I have to be a member of Grasag University. I have to also...
so assume you have been voted as a president. What is required of you before you sit on the seat as a president?
I have to take the oath of... I have to take the presidential oath as enshrined in the Constitution.
All right, that's fine. My last question, with respect to the same Constitution. Can the president be personally liable to proceedings in any judicial issues in the university? So if you are a president today, are you subject to any judicial proceedings, being it administrative or court proceedings, as a president?
No, please.
Why?
So according to the Constitution, while in office as the president, all decisions that are taken, all functions that are performed, you are not liable to any judicial proceeding.
All right, that's fine.
Okay. Hello, Gabriel. Welcome.
Thank you.
So my questions are in relation to the application form.
Okay, the nomination form.
And so with your mission and vision statements, they seem quite similar. I mean, the vision is basically like a repetition of the mission. So your vision says to create an inclusive, supportive, and dynamic graduate community where every student has the opportunity to thrive academically, professionally, and personally. Can you explain this statement? Yeah, your vision.
Okay, so per the Grasag Constitution, we have a key policy area, and as part of it is to make sure that we have a conducive academic environment for all postgraduate students. And as part of my vision, one, I wanted to have a supportive system. So supportive, where postgraduate students can have access to all material that need for him to go to the postgraduate program. For example, when you come to a research common, it's supposed to be a supportive to all postgraduate students. When you come to access to maybe online platform, you have to be to support postgraduate students. For example, Eternity Check and all those things. I think that's supposed to support postgraduate students. Then you talk of dynamic. Now the dynamic talk of aside the normal user that we have, what are the other alternatives that we have to use to achieve our objective? One, for example, we can have postgraduate students attending a conference, either international or local level, and this to also bring a dynamic to our already existing tradition, which we have one of the best systems as a university, KNUST for that matter, and we have to also bring other dynamic. What are other factors that we can bring in, including the leadership dynamic, which can drive the student to achieve the objective, which is mainly to complete their program on time and put their certificate into use.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Also, in relation to your key policies, so you made mention of a Grasag Research Fund expansion. How do you hope to achieve that?
Oh, okay. So I think our current president, Mr. Felix Kofi Eduse administration, just launched the research fund, and we have capped it at 3,000 per every student that will be awarded that fund. And one, we want to expand the amount that the student receive. For example, I have experience of going through my MPhil program, and data collection alone, you spend close to 7,000 for collecting data, because sometimes you have to travel to a distance. Transportation is not easy, and you have to go with research assistant. So for me to work on that plan of expanding the fund through internal and external.
Gabriel, this is not to cut you short, but we are dealing with quite some short time. The question is how you are hoping to achieve the bits about the expansion, not why you want to expand it.
Okay, so we want to achieve it through internal and external source. So the internal source, we are going to increase allocation in our budget so that we can increase the amount that is going to be awarded. and also external, we are going to look for NGO. We are also going to have a research and grant committee. So we also look at international grant that we can write for, which can qualify. We can also have as a supportive to the expansion process. So those are the two ways that we are going to look at it. Also have to look at partnership with other industrial players.
Okay, those are quite ambitious. Anyways, the last but one question: how do you plan on achieving weekend accommodation for ideal students? Do you have like some hostels somewhere that you want to pack them in, or?
Okay, so currently most of ideal students and weekend students, when they come, they lodge at hotel, guest houses.
Just 1 minute.
Yes, so we are going to list with hotel and guest houses to make sure that we have a place secure for postgraduate students where they can actually book on time. So we are going to work with the hotel and guest houses to book for them on time.
Interesting. The last question. The last question about the Grasag app. I'm curious to know like what the Grasag app is going to be about.
So Grasag app, we are in a digital world right now, and everything that we want to do, we have so many apps, which is including the AIM app. So the AIM app, which is for the university, we are going to have a Grasag app. So all these policies that we are bringing on board, we can get them through the app system. So even for the accommodation, we are going to have a section where you can book accommodation. We are going to have a section for learning materials. Currently, if you look at the Eternity, I remember during my time at MPhil level, all postgraduate students have access to the Eternity. Then you can check yourself. Currently, it's not at that level due to how other people are using it. So we are hoping that when we have the app, we can have a resource section where you can have research materials, those Eternity tech all being part of the app session that you can access through your credentials as a postgraduate student.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Mr. Gabriel, I wanted to ask you, do you have a blueprint of your policy already?
Yes, please.
So I want to know about just two NGOs that you think we can reach out to for the Grasag extension, or let me say, the fund, whatever. Do you have any two NGOs that you think?
Currently, together with my professor, Professor Giftumada, and the team, we have worked on a grant from Vire, which are into transport and those things. So we have a fund that we carry on a research, and we also present our work at a conference that was held at South Africa, and our paper was awarded as one of the best presentations in the conference. And having this credibility, I believe that we can also extend it to other grant communities. On the yes, we have a conference which was held at South Africa, just I think this year, and we presented our paper based on the grant that we received, and our paper was awarded the best presentation during the conference.
I want to understand how that's in relation to the
So that I was related to asking about the grant-related issue. So Vira is going to be one of the NGOs that we are going to work with.
You said what NGO?
Come again. VRFE.
They give you a grant to attend the conference.
My boss won a grant with them, which we undertake a research at Accra, Kumasi, and the rest. So I was part of the team that worked on the project.
What does that NGO do?
They are into transport research.
They're into transport research?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is literally like a research consortium?
Yes, please.
And then your supervisor or your boss won a grant with them?
Yes, please.
And then you think that you can source grants from that NGO to be able to expand the GREF?
So annually they release like grants for application. So they release it. And based on the experience I have with them, we can also put in application as a postgraduate student. For example,
every year the NGO advertises for grant applications.
Yes, please.
To give money to postgraduate students or researchers to do research.
Exactly.
That's what you are saying.
Yes.
Individuals.
Come again.
individuals or corporate groups or
They
groups?
They give to institution, which Grasag can also apply for.
They give to institutions.
Yes, please.
So this institution of yours you are talking about sources for grants, and then they also distribute that grant to people to work with it.
So this is what I'm explaining. So when you talk of it, they are a research costume, like as you said, and annually they have allocated fund. For example, they are calling for this project. So we, as a postgraduate student who undertake various research, for example, we have the transport student, we can put an application through our supervisors. And this can be part of association. We can leverage on that, because if you look at it, we are basically into research.
I can understand where you are coming from.
Thank you.
So those are individuals who would be bidding for those grants to aid them in their projects.
Yes, please.
These are things we see happen all the time.
Yes.
What is going to be the concession for Grasag? How is that going to expand GREF? That is what we want to know. The expansion of GREF. How is it going to add up to the monies we receive every year for GREF?
So I give two options. The internal, which maybe we are going to currently, we have a portion of our budget that is allocated.
So I am querying the external now. Yes. How is that external source going to add up to the monies we are gathering for GREF? What I know, I also work in a research institute.
Yes, please.
What I know about grants when they are advertised is that often than not, the funder releases the grant based on their interest. So I want to share money for anyone who wants to do research on NTDs, or neglected tropical disease. I want to share money for anyone who is interested in transport research. So these are individual funds people, by virtue of their interests, would want to apply for. We are talking about expansion of GREF. How are we going to get inflow of cash externally so that regardless what your research interest is as a student of Care University, if you are applying for grant, if you are applying for GREF, we can award as many students as possible. That's what we want to know, not the other avenues you are going to provide to students to be able to source funds. That is not GREF, and that is not part of GREF, and that cannot be an avenue of expanding GREF. The only way really you can expand GREF is, first of all, about the coverage, how many students you are going to be able to cover. And then two, if you are not even going to talk about the coverage in terms of the students, expansion in terms of the funds allocated to every student. Maybe you are hoping to increase it. Maybe you are not hoping to, you did 100 students this year, you are not hoping to do 200. You are going to maintain the same 100, but last year they had 500, so you are hoping to give them 1,000 this year. That's how you assess expansion, especially in this context. And so that's what we want to know.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, it's also part of our explanation to that, but I was looking at the fund aspect. We are also looking at expanding the number. Currently, it's going to be awarded to 75 students, and we increasing the number is also part of our expansion. Thank you for that.
All right. Welcome, Gabriel and Emmanuel.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to follow up some questions on the graph with the internal bit. Aren't the students already overburdened with a lot of school fees and a lot of bills? How are you going to ensure that we are still going to raise money internally without overburdening the student body?
Thank you. So we are not going to increase amount that the students are going to pay as a dues, but we as administration are going to increase our budget allocation so that we can it can be awarded to more students. For example, maybe if you have 100,000 allocation from our budget, maybe we can look at it as administration. We want to increase it to what? 20, maybe let's say 200,000. So that's what we are looking at.
And where would that extra 100 come from? Where would that extra come from?
It should still come from our budget allocation. So as administration, we are going to have a budget allocated to various activities. So we are going to look at how can we minimize some activity and allocate more money to the research fund.
Okay. You also made mention of souvenir delivery in your manifesto. Why is it necessary to have or to deliver souvenirs for the Grasag students at their doorstep? What's the relevance?
Okay, based on my experience, sometimes when the souvenir comes, most of these postgraduate students are done with their program, or they are at home. And sometimes they complain that we don't receive our souvenir. So as an administration and somebody have duly paid his dues and is entitled to souvenir, we are going to make sure that wherever you are going to receive your souvenir that you are entitled to. And you pay an amount as for part of the delivery service. So we just make sure that everything that everybody pay for, you get it. So it's not be like we have paid for our souvenir, we have not received it. Because during my interaction with the student, a lot of them complain that they are in second year, they have not received their souvenir and all those things. So doorstep delivery is just to make sure that, yes, sometimes we have the souvenir at the office, but they are not available to take it.
You are saying someone will complete and then you will deliver the items to them. Don't you think all that will be costly? Why don't you rather streamline the process of production to get the items early enough to give it to the student before they even complete or they move to that next academic year? Why delivery? Why do you think the delivery is a better solution other than any other alternative?
As I said, the delivery can be into food. Maybe somebody is in Accra, and during his courses, maybe he may not have a chance to come to the office to take it. But our administration is also to make sure that during the open, every student get their souvenir on time before leaving school. But there is to cater for special those in the second year.
So why would I want to pay delivery fee just to get like a t-shirt or something? I mean, it's not gold.
Okay, thank you. So the policies is, most of the students would like to come on campus and take it. Some are ideal students, some are weekend students. Some of them also want to get it at their homes or their towns. So what we're going to do is that there will be an option for you. If you want it in your town, we'll take your information, your address. That is when, after we have delivered, you will pay for the delivery cost. So those who want to take it on campus will be given to them on campus. So that is the policy, yes.
Another thing, affordable accommodation. I have seen a trend over the past years where every single academic year, the accommodation fees are being increased. How are you going to reduce and make the accommodation more affordable?
Thank you. As you said, I agree. I agree with you. Based on having been here for quite a while, every year you see the accommodation increasing. But we as a group can also bargain for our students to have a cut for the accommodation. So, for example, the accommodation we are looking at also the weekend student. Sometimes when they go for some of these guest houses and hotels.
No, you stick to the regular accommodation. We'll come to that one.
The regular accommodation?
Yes.
So we are going to have, through the Director of Student Affairs, together with SRC, we engage the hostel managers.
You're going to engage all the private hostel managers to subsidize their cost. That's what you're trying to say?
Director already have some hostels that are make accessible to some of the postgraduate students. And most of them don't visit fully during their study of the course. So we are going to have discussion with them that as association, this is what we are proposing to them.
So if they don't accept your proposal, it means the accommodation fee will not reduce.
We'll save again for that.
Okay. One more question. So there's a bit on continuous feedback. Continuous feedback on your manifesto under the welfare, well-being.
Just a minute.
Have you seen it? Second page.
Okay.
Okay, so how are you going to ensure that students do not like surveys? How are you going to ensure that you increase the interest in them so that you'll be able to do the surveys or the regular surveys you are going to establish? It's going to be regular. And already, I've realized students really don't like surveys. You're also going to do it on a regular basis. how are you going to ensure that this would work?
We are going to work through the class reps.
How?
So we are going to make sure we are going to have a good interaction with the class rep and to make sure that every activity that we undertook, we share a survey for them to share their opinion with us. And I believe that sometimes when the class rep share the information, they have more interest to partake in it.
Okay, so one of the reasons why someone will not be interested in the survey is if the person doesn't know the importance of what the survey is or what he benefits if he take part in the survey. So if we come up with the reason why we want them to conduct that survey, and want them to know the benefit they will get after taking part, because whatever we'll get as a feedback is going to put into our administration. So if they get to know that, I'm sure they'll take part. And nowadays, we can do it online, where we send a link. The student at their various comforts or at their home or their places can go online, and then the question that will be asked, they follow and answer, and we'll get the input from there.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gabriel Alexander Peru and Mr. Emmanuel from Pone. I have your CVs before me, and with Mr. Gabriel Alexander Peru, upon skimming your CV, I found a lot of qualities that you have. You have excellent GIS and database management skills, and strong drone piloting and processing skills, which is quite wonderful.
Thank you.
And you have a lot of skills as well, which includes leadership and management, research analysis, and so on. But upon coming to the work experience, I saw that you were founder of and CEO of GEO. You were at OpenStreetMap Ghana. You were at Los Samuels Consult Limited and other companies. But I'm not seeing how these skills were visible in there. You didn't tell me anything. What you did there, I have no idea. Not even a single idea. So can you tell us how you use all those skills and qualities that you have in your work experience?
Thank you. So, as I said, I'm the founder and the CEO of Joanda Consult, and we are into surveying, mapping data, and other drone work, and we also have a research aspect of it. And the experience I gathered was after my postgraduate education, I realized that sometimes we put on job application, but having gone through entrepreneurship procedure training on campus, I used that experience to come up with this company, which actually also provide a job opportunity for not less than 15 Ghanaians, and it's also going on. I also have experience with working with OpenStreet Network, and OpenStreet Network, they are into mapping, and we were mostly in charge of, we have youth mappers at the university level, and we coordinate activity with all these students. We also take them through training section and other stuff. I also work as a Lusamer as survey and data analysis, and all this experience come with management, leadership, and at all the various levels, I was in charge of a team or a group of people, and having been able to manage them to deliver successfully on all these positions have been a lot of experience I've learned with leadership, teamwork, and other various experience, which is reflected in my skills and qualities.
Okay, thank you. And you sold yourself to me that you're a dynamic leader, committed to fostering educational excellence, professional growth, and the overall well-being of graduate students. I want to know how you use your excellent GIS and database management skills, your strong drone piloting and processing skills, your exceptional field data collection experiences and skills, your good ICT skills. How will you use it this time when you are voted into power to foster educational excellence, professional growth, and overall well-being of the present graduate students here?
So all this quality you have seen, they are currently one of the most demanding in this job market. And having have all this experience is going to help me bring a lot of professional development to the postgraduate student. So I have experience, especially for IT. That is what drives our app development, which is going to be something. Having have experience in all these things, and being the leader of the administration, it can give me, I have the experience to review everything that will come under my authorization. Because having the skills in all this and let you know that at least everything that can, you have the fair knowledge of what to deal with. For example, if we talk about data management, at least if you have a research activity coming on, let's say a research seminar, and we have to take students through some data analysis and the rest, I have a fair knowledge, I have the experience in the data management, and that can guide me to make sure, okay, this thing that we are giving to our student is good, and this is not good. And also give recommendation, let's do this way, let's do this way. So all these things bring on board experience that I need to lead the diverse group of people, because we have people at the various field, and we need expertise from all this angle to make sure that we champion the cause that will bring inclusive professional development and dynamic in every activity that we going to undertake in our administration.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
With last question. Yeah. So, Emmanuel, upon skimming through your CV, you have, with one of your experiences, stated that you identified community problems and potentials using problem tree and SWOT analysis. My focus here is on the SWOT analysis, which is the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, and threats that you identify there. So my question to you is that, with your knowledge in SWOT analysis, what strengths, what weakness, what opportunities, what threats have you identified in Grasag KNUST, and how are you using that to support your president? And how are we also going to benefit from that?
Thank you. So the SWOT analysis, as you said, that is why we because we realize that there are hotels around and guest houses around. But most of our students, when they come, especially the weekend students, when
Okay. Not to cut you short, with the graduate hostel, I am at the graduate hostel. I know other people at Shaba, and there are empty rooms. And Grasag has a room allocator. They have a website for booking rooms. And if you want the room, the website is open for a very long time, like a week to sometimes even 3 weeks, for you to book a room. But the students themselves do not book. There are rooms available, but the students there do not book. There are a lot of spaces at Shaba. There are spaces at Grasag Hostel. So which analysis did you do to find that students are so in need of accommodations on campus?
All right, thank you, Gabriel. Are you comfortable if I stand? Gabriel, I want you to move with me. All right. You mentioned the bit about accommodation and then all of these issues. Not to take you back, but you know the e-learning center. You know the e-learning center. E-learning center. Do you know the primary responsibility of the center? Do you know the primary responsibility of the center? All right. It's supposed to be the #1 store shop for e-learning education in Ghana, and then hopefully on the continent and in the world. That is what we are hoping to achieve. I know this, and I'm able to say this because I was an inaugural member of the e-learning board. With the advent of e-learning post-COVID, do you think students still look at education from the point of coming to live and then stay in school, postgraduate students in particular, coming to live and then stay in school to acquire education?
What different than the yes. As we are saying, the e-learning is also a new platform we are all upgrading to. It's not everybody who have the full skills to understand some of the calculations that are done through the e-learning platform. So I said it's a gradual process. For now, we can have.
I want to take into context the people who are postgraduate students, some of whom are workers. That I want you to take cognizance of that part.
And then explain your answer very well.
Regarding to the that is how we can have both. Sometimes which can be on the schedule. So for example, some courses can be taken online to let them have convenient time, which I use example of ethical studies.
Okay, you've made that point. Let me talk to your running mate. Okay, there is no microphone. Emmanuel, what do you think is the purpose for graduate studies or graduate training? What do you think?
Okay, so one of the purpose of graduate studies for national development.
It's for what?
National development.
National development.
Through research.
Okay. Gabriel, what do you think would be another primary reason for graduate studies or graduate training?
For more specialization, also to have more in-depth understanding.
Okay, so fundamentally, we would agree that fundamentally maybe it is to enhance the skill of an individual. If we are talking about national development, if we are talking about what you mentioned. Fundamentally, we want to enhance the skill of an individual to be able to contribute better to society. Which of your policies would be geared towards this, to meet the purpose or the primary aim of graduate education?
So we have under our academic support, we talk of mentorship, we talk of workshop. Yeah, we talk of how do you call it?
Yes. Mentorship. What have they done? That's what I want to know. What those things are.
Mentorship, we have.
Gabriel, talk.
Yeah, when we talk of mentorship, we have some people who have already gone through the skills, and we as postgraduate students can have for the conferences, which will let people travel to have a to know how people are also using other skills to achieve some of the things. Because I have a privilege of attending a conference at Global Celebration, and I will interact with a lot of people who are coming from other diverse fields and who are also using the tools in a different dimension.
Thank you.
Which I believe that can also enhance.
Thank you. Are you familiar with the vision of the university? Yes. Are you familiar with it?
Not really.
Are you familiar with the vision of Grasag?